Imagine the raw fury of justice exploding in a school hallway, where bullies think they're untouchable until one fierce act of courage flips the script forever. If you're in the USA or UK, craving stories that ignite your soul with tales of resilience, revenge, and real-world twists, hit that subscribe button now for more gripping narratives that hit harder than Hollywood blockbusters. Don't miss out. Subscribe today and join the revolution. In the bustling corridors of Evergreen High School, nestled in the heart of a mid-sized American town where the autumn leaves painted the sidewalks in shades of crimson and gold, life for Emily Hargrove was a daily battle against invisibility and cruelty. Emily, a 16-year-old with sparkling blue eyes and a spirit that refused to be dimmed despite her confinement to a wheelchair due to a rare neurological condition she'd had since birth, navigated the world with a quiet determination that masked the storms raging inside her. Her parents, both overworked teachers at the local community college, had instilled in her the value of perseverance, but they couldn't shield her from the harsh realities of high school hierarchies. The Bullies, a notorious trio led by Chad Wilkins, the star quarterback with a chiseled jaw and a reputation for getting away with anything because his father was the town's mayor, had made Emily their favorite target. Chad, flanked by his minion Styler, the lanky jokester with a perpetual smirk, and Brooke, the cheerleader whose beauty hid a venomous tongue, found endless amusement in tripping her chairs, wheels, or mocking her slow progress through the halls. It was a Thursday afternoon, the kind where the air hummed with anticipation for the weekend football game, when the incident happened. Emily was wheeling herself to her locker after biology class, her mind lost in thoughts of the upcoming science fair where she hoped to showcase her project on adaptive robotics, something that could one day help people like her regain mobility. She didn't see Chad coming. He barreled down the hall like a freight train, accidentally clipping the side of her wheelchair with his backpack. The force sent her tipping over, her books scattering like fallen soldiers, and she crashed to the cold linoleum floor with a thud that echoed through the crowded hallway. Laughter erupted from Chad and his crew as they high-fived, Brooke snapping a quick photo on her phone for their group chat, captioned "Wheelie fails again." Emily lay there, humiliated, her cheeks burning as tears welled up, but she bit her lip, refusing to give them the satisfaction of seeing her cry. A few bystanders murmured sympathies, but did nothing, the fear of social ostracism paralyzing them. As the crowd dispersed, whispering about the clumsy cripple, Emily pulled herself back into her chair with trembling arms, gathering her things while vowing silently that one day, somehow, this would end. Little did she know, across the hall, hidden in the shadows of the vending machines, stood Jasmine Reed, a 17-year-old black girl with fierce braids cascading down her back and eyes that burned with an intensity born from years of fighting her own battles. Jasmine had transferred to Evergreen High just 3 months ago from an inner-city school in Chicago, where she'd learned to navigate gang territories and racial prejudices with a streak-smart edge that made her both admired and feared. Her family had moved for her father's job at the local factory, hoping for a quieter life, but Jasmine quickly realized that suburbs had their own brand of toxicity. She kept to herself mostly, excelling in track and field while harboring a secret passion for martial arts, taught to her by her uncle, a former Marine. Jasmine had seen the bullying before, subtle at first, then escalating, but today, watching Emily get knocked over, something snapped inside her. It reminded her of her little sister back in Chicago, who had been harassed for her dark skin until Jasmine stepped in, earning a suspension but also respect. As the bell rang for the next period, Jasmine's mind raced. She had 30 minutes before her free study hall ended, and in that time, she decided to act. But this wasn't going to be a simple confrontation. Jasmine was smarter than that. She knew charging in blindly would only get her expelled, so she plotted with the precision of a chess master. First, she slipped into the computer lab, using her tech-savvy skills honed from online coding tutorials to hack into the school's security camera feed, something she'd learned from a shady forum during her Chicago days. There, she captured footage of the incident, clear as day, showing Chad's deliberate shove. With that evidence saved to her phone, she texted it anonymously to the principal's email, but that was just the appetizer. Jasmine then headed to the gym, where Chad and his crew were lounging during their off period, bragging about their latest prank. She waited outside, heart pounding, until they emerged, still chuckling. "Hey Chad," she called out, her voice steady but laced with steel. Chad turned, his eyes narrowing at this girl he barely knew, the one with the urban attitude, as he and his friends whispered. "What do you want, newbie?" he sneered, Tyler and Brooke flanking him like bodyguards. Jasmine stepped closer, her posture unyielding. "I saw what you did to Emily. That's not cool." The trio laughed, but Jasmine didn't flinch. "You think you're tough, picking on someone who can't fight back. Let's see how you handle someone who can." Before Chad could respond, Jasmine's fist connected with his jaw in a swift uppercut, the result of years of training. He staggered back, shocked, as Tyler lunged at her. Jasmine dodged, sweeping his legs out from under him with a move straight from her karate classes. Brooke screamed, trying to scratch at her, but Jasmine grabbed her arm, twisting it just enough to make her yelp without breaking it. The fight was over in seconds, the hallway erupting into chaos as students pulled out phones to record. But here's where the first twist came. As security rushed in, Jasmine didn't resist. She held up her hands, saying calmly, "Check the cameras." This was self-defense. The principal, Mr. Harlan, a stern man in his 50s with a no-nonsense mustache, reviewed the footage, not just of the fight, but of the earlier incident with Emily. Chad's father, the mayor, tried to intervene, storming into the office with threats of lawsuits, but the evidence was irrefutable. Chad, Tyler, and Brooke were suspended, their football privileges revoked, sending shockwaves through the school. Emily, hearing about it in the nurse's office where she was icing her bruises, felt a mix of gratitude and confusion. Who was this Jasmine, and why did she risk everything for her? The two girls met later that day in the library. Emily wheeling up tentatively. "Why did you do that?" she asked. Jasmine smiled faintly. "Because I've been where you are, bullied for being different, and someone has to stand up." Their conversation stretched into hours, revealing layers neither expected. Emily shared her dreams of inventing tech to help the disabled, while Jasmine opened up about her Chicago past, including a twist. Her little sister wasn't just harassed. She had been in a wheelchair too, after a drive-by shooting that Jasmine blamed herself for not preventing. That's why seeing Emily triggered her so deeply. It was like reliving her guilt. As days turned to weeks, their friendship blossomed. But the story didn't end there. Twist number 2. Chad, humiliated and benched, didn't take his punishment lying down. He rallied a group of like-minded students, spreading rumors about Jasmine being a violent thug from the city, playing on racial stereotypes to turn the school against her. Petitions circulated to get her expelled, and anonymous notes appeared in her locker, threatening worse. Emily, now fiercely loyal, used her tech skills to trace the notes back to Brooke's IP address, exposing the harassment. But the real bombshell came when Jasmine discovered, through a late-night dig into school records with Emily's help, that Chad's father had been covering up similar incidents for years, including one where a student was seriously injured. They leaked this to a local journalist, a young reporter eager for a scoop, and the story exploded in the town newspaper. Mayor Wilkins' reputation crumbled, leading to an investigation that uncovered embezzlement from school funds. Twist 3. The money was being funneled to boost the football program, explaining why athletes like Chad were untouchable. As the scandal unfolded, Jasmine and Emily became unlikely heroes, starting an anti-bullying club that gained national attention. CNN picked up the story, interviewing them about empowerment and allyship across differences. But amid the triumph, a darker twist emerged. Jasmine received a mysterious letter from Chicago, warning her that old enemies from her past had tracked her down. Angered by her snitching on a gang-related incident years ago, fearing for her safety, she confided in Emily, who, in a role reversal, vowed to protect her friend. They fortified their bond, learning self-defense together, Emily adapting moves for her wheelchair, and when the threats materialized in the form of a shadowy figure lurking near the school, they confronted him together. It turned out to be Jasmine's estranged cousin, not a gangster, but someone trying to warn her of real danger from Mayor Wilkins' allies seeking revenge. In a climactic showdown at the school pep rally, where Chad attempted a comeback speech, Jasmine and Emily exposed everything live, with evidence projected on the gym screen. The crowd turned, cheering for the underdogs as police arrested the mayor on stage. Years later, Emily invented her robotic aid, dedicating it to Jasmine, who became a civil rights lawyer, fighting for marginalized